Yo.
Yes, sir, fellas. Fox NFL is starting. You know what time it is, baby. It's the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and that man, Manny Ruffin.
You know what's going on?
In our NFL Week 9 NFL reactions. As always, fellas, powered by Dimers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Caesars Sportsbook. For new users, guys, just go over there and check if Caesars is legal in your state. You can deposit using code ALLDAY on Caesars Sportsbook on the app, and you will get a risk-free bet up to $5,000. We have plenty of books. That's why throughout these different weeks of NFL reactions and our podcast, I'm shouting out BetRivers, I'm shouting out BetMGM. So you can head over to www.dimers.com/ADED, and you will see all of those books on there for all the great deals that we have to get you guys going and betting on this NFL season. We are in Week 9, ladies and gentlemen. We are at that halfway point. And we finished off this Monday Night Football, and again, we are now doing these on Monday night so we can recap every single game for you guys, not only just finishing, usually we were finishing on the Sunday night slate, but now we're getting every single game, including this Monday night showdown tonight between the Steelers hosting the Chicago Bears, and for a while, a good portion of this game, the Steelers looked like they were in control up until the end of the game, but the Steelers hold on. They win this one 29-27. I got to give a huge shout out to my boy, Chris Boswell. Did anybody think I was going to say the kicker? But yes, I did. What did he do? He makes some clutch field goals, and the very next possession, a fumble recovery that bounced perfectly right into his hands, giving the Steelers the ball back. A 29-27 victory for the Steelers. But I think we have to, obviously, we'll highlight what the Steelers did in this game. We have to talk a little bit about Justin Fields, right? He had a great game, and for the Justin Fields, I guess I should say, haters for the poor productivity that he's had so far in his rookie season. I think this is a great bounce back game for him. Obviously, he didn't get the win. The 65 yard field goal didn't go in.
But the fourth quarter,
we talked about the ball.
You could speak on anything that you want to speak on when it comes to Justin Fields. This fourth quarter that you've seen from him is literally the future. This is why there's so much upside when it comes to the name Justin Fields.
100%.
The ball. I'm gonna talk about the ball right now. He hit Darnell Mooney, and he didn't hit him. He missed him by an inch. You gotta understand, he's throwing that ball from the opposite hash on the opposite 40. That ball reached the 30 on a line from the opposite hash.
And what did you say?
A perfectly placed ball.
You said from that, you were like, people are just going to say, oh, he
missed it. He overthrew it.
Exactly.
That is a great ball. That's not an easy ball to make at all. But for me, there's like, you could go to Ben Roethlisberger, you go to Justin Fields, you go to Dave Montgomery, you go so many different directions this game. My thing is, here we go again with the NFL emphasis on fucking taunting.
Oh, God, here he goes.
I can't deal it. Cassius Marsh makes a great play. He just got signed from the practice squad, makes a play that could change if he has a son, daughter, could change their life, wife change their life, family could change their whole trajectory of their life.
Oh my
Playing
God.
the most emotional game that is out, which is football. Makes a huge play in the football game and has a little something to say about it. I mean, if you hit a bet and I was on the other side, you let me know about it, right? So if I make a play in the most emotional game
here's the problem with that. The only problem with that is the only reason it was called taunting is because when he got done to play, he's over there skipping and shuffling and sidestepping towards
and saying shit to the sideline.
That sideline.
That's cool, right?
But here's the thing: you got to understand that is exactly what they're trying to crack down on. So you knew that was going to happen.
But my thing is though So anyone who's played wide receiver or corner in football, you know that if you play corner or wide receiver and you go to the opposite team's sideline and you're lined up on that side, there's so much chatter going on. They're literally talking shit before the play, damn near sometimes during the play. And if you get a pass breakup or a catch on the opposite team sideline, you're chirping at their coaches, the players, the trainers, the reporters. Doesn't matter.
If you guys are watching, watching live on Twitter right now, comment down below. Let us know if you agree with that taunting call or not. This is what we're debating so far to start this night off.
I think it's horrible for the game, the players. I think it's horrible for the fans. If part of that's the appeal to the game, it's fucking football. Put a mic. I mean, obviously NFL Films does it, but it's censored. Leave an uncensored mic on these players when there's a tackle on a 2-yard gain. All these D tackles, linebackers, safeties, fucking tackles, quarterbacks. Everyone's talking shit. Everyone's doing it. But when it's after a play and it looks a little public, now let's throw a flag out. Fuck that. It is football. And I know there's so many things in this game I can go over. To me, that's just it just grinds. It kills me because someone that's played football, I played football for 15, 16 years. God damn. God damn. I can't see myself controlling myself in this situation. I'm in the NFL, Monday Night Football. I just got signed off the practice squad. I just made the biggest play in my history of my name. And I can't talk a little shit.
If he just did it with the team, it would have been fine. It would have been called. But he went
it's
to the
not.
sideline. That's all it is.
That's the thing about football, and I'm going too long. I know I'm going too long, but that's the thing about football. There's so much beef in 4 quarters. There's some he can be talking shit to someone something that happened on punt return in the second quarter, and someone on the sideline like, yeah, you ain't shit, Marsh. You should be on the practice squad still. He made that play at the end of the game. He's like, who was that fucker talking shit in the second quarter? Yeah, let me go find him on the sideline. It's just football.
I totally understand it. I totally understand.
I can't stand.
He's got to understand.
Then you got the coach.
This is the rule now. This is what they're cracking down
comes
on.
to the sideline, his coach like, you motherfucker, you motherfucker, god damn you. But when you play football in the fucking 60s, motherfucker, what were you doing?
Let's talk a little bit about the game. We have to shine some light on this Chicago Bears special teams and their defense.
Yeah.
So the touchdown that they had to put them back on, right? So it was the punt that was fumbled. They took it back to score. That was they said it on the ESPN broadcast. Steve Levy stated this stat, that this is the first special teams touchdown since week 10 of 2020 and that play was a 104-yard kick return from Cordell Patterson.
That's crazy.
So that is the play that got this Chicago Bears team back into this game when it was 23-13 at this point with less than a half of a quarter to go.
Done.
This game was pretty much over. Steelers were getting the ball back, run some clock off, maybe take another 3 to 4 minutes off, and then it's pretty much sayonara. We're walking out of Heinz Field with another win. But you get this stop here, and then it's 23-20. You get a big game, and this play right here is what we've been highlighting, this taunting penalty. That created that was on third down. That creates, instead of fourth down and giving the Bears the ball, giving Justin Fields the ball with the 2-minute warning still. There was 2:14 on the clock, with giving them the ball with 2:14 remaining. You have the 2-minute warning and you have a timeout. There's an easy chance that they can walk down the field, get a field goal, and win the game. Obviously, that does not happen. And Chris Boswell with his field goals gets the win. But also, let's talk about Cairo Santos.
I was going to say, Santos,
65-yarder. From the camera, it looked like this ball was going to go in.
All of you sitting at home, you thought that was going in, right?
Manny and I were watching this game. We're screaming. We're like, dude, the ball's in. Oh my God.
I thought it was another.
It hit the bar. I thought it hit the bar.
Not a double dunk, but I thought it was a doink at least.
I thought it hit the bar.
Then they switched the camera, and that bitch is like 10 yards short.
But I was telling you.
We were talking about before you hit the kick, they're going to go for the Hail Mary. He's going to let him kick it. I'm on the side of let him kick the shit. But I was telling him, listen, it's a cold day in Pittsburgh. That ball is not going to fly.
We were fighting over this because both of us, I was on the side, give him the rock. Let Santos go for it. Let him go get almost get close to tying that Justin Tucker field goal they did against the Lions. Give him a shot. Give him the rock. Let him try. Why not? You have 4 seconds on the clock. You have 5 seconds on the clock. Then TJ Watt swats that down. Luckily, he swatted that down. You give him a chance. He almost did it. So it's a good win for Mike Tomlin. Give Mike Tomlin some credit. It's getting a lot of hate.
I think that might be 20 straight Monday Night Football wins for them.
He's been getting a lot of hate. Steelers been getting a lot of hate. So a big win there. And a primetime game for the Steelers. You can't ask for more. Obviously, the Bears were. I saw a bet. I want to point out this for you. I saw a bet that it was a $20 bet, and the Bears money line. It was to win $68K if the Bears won. So the cash out before the game was like $12,500. So maybe what I would have done if there was a cash out opportunity after the Bears special teams defense touchdown, I'm like. There's got to be if there's time. There was 6 minutes left on the clock in the game, so maybe they wouldn't have allowed the cash out. But if they did, that bumps up to 30K, 35K. They're in a 3-point game. I'm out. I'm celebrating. But that's the Monday night game. We're gonna bounce around now because if you guys don't already know, I'm a Giants fan and Manny's an Eagles fan. So we're gonna pop over to the Giants game. The Giants at MetLife Stadium hosting the Las Vegas Raiders after the crazy week that they had with Henry Ruggs. And a 2-interception game for Xavier McKinney, the second year out of Alabama, which is a late second-round pick, which is very, very happy that he fell. And one of those interceptions was a pick six. Just a good defensive battle. And I've stated this before multiple times on this podcast about how the Giants defense last season is what helped them get into a position to make the playoffs. Obviously, we talk about what happened with the Eagles. They whatever. Everyone's gonna say, oh, they sold the game. They sold the Giants. That's besides the point.
We're past that.
We're past that. We're totally past that. The narrative for me as a fan looking at this defense this year is we didn't pick up where we left off at all defensively. And then you have a great game like this, great bounce back game. And Manny and I talked on a podcast probably about a month ago now what the Giants' schedule looked like for the next 2 months. And that was already a month ago. And I was saying they're not going to win a game.
Yeah, I was wrong.
And we obviously talked about them getting waxed by the Chiefs, and they kept that a close game. But one of the games that we did mention that they could get was this Raiders game at home. And that's exactly what they did. So I'm very happy for this team. It's good for me to see Saquon's not there, but Devontae Booker's getting the ball 21 times. He's getting just shy of 100 yards in this game. That tells me when Saquon's back, maybe we can keep this offensive line moving.
That's what I was
get
going
him 100
to,
yards on the ground, right?
That's literally the first thing I was going to ask you. I was like, if you look at Devontae Booker's production this game, if not even the weeks before, he's in the passing game. Pretty sure he had 3 receptions again.
Sure.
What is this that the O-line's meshing now, or is Devontae Booker hitting the hole differently than Saquon did? Was Saquon trying to make too many plays and bounce around too much? Like, why do you think Devontae Booker is having, I would say, not more success? Because he hasn't been amazing, but he's been productive. I feel like a little more productive in the running game than they were with Saquon.
It was definitely
So, like, what do you think? Do you think that's the O-line meshing? Do you think it's Devontae Booker kind of just hitting the hole better, harder?
I think he's hitting the hole a little harder. I think Saquon dances a little bit before he kind of does what C-Mac does. He hides a little bit behind the lineman and then tries to go make his cut. We just got to run the ball harder. And obviously the storyline with this Giants team is getting that offensive line ready. But I do want to do a quick shout out here.
Home win. How about that?
Home win for Daniel Jones. I do want to give a quick shout out here. I see Ahan is in here. If you guys haven't checked out the podcast that dropped earlier this morning, we did a podcast with Ahan. He is a fellow Mooney Gang member. A great conversation with him. MIT grad. We learned a lot about how what he takes in his analysis in terms of sports gambling and sports betting. So you can check that out on our YouTube. We just dropped that earlier this morning. So a great little podcast with him. And I see you're in here. So I just wanted to give you a little shout out, buddy. So now we got through the Giants. They're a good one there. We're going to go to Manny's team, and then we'll do the rest. Again, for the Monday night, it's a little bit different for Monday night. We're kind of hopping around. We're doing our Monday night game. We're hopping to our teams, and then we're doing the rest of the slate, starting with Sunday night. So we'll go to Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. And in a tweet from El Capitan saying that I look like Justin Herbert this morning, if anybody saw that, you can head over to Humble Beast, El Capitan on Twitter. That was fun to wake up to this morning. But I took Chargers money line. What's cool to think about too is this money line before this game started was -110, -110. You got a 50-50 shot to make this, and a game-winning field goal here with seconds remaining. The Chargers win this one 27-24.
Now this is like, Eagles fans, I'm gonna have to get on y'all again because I'm seeing some weird narratives on Twitter. Mind you, I wasn't on Twitter during the game, so I think during this game I'm at the casino. I'm chilling. I'm watching all the games, have my shit laid out, but they had the Eagles on the big screen, so I'm tuning into the Eagles game.
Of course they did.
Whole time I'm wondering, like, this is not Jalen Hurts' worst game I've seen. 17 attempts, 11 completions. Okay, a couple really nice balls to Devontae in some tight spots. Some of them were wide open, and some of the good Devontae routes. A couple good balls. So I go back on Twitter. I see ESP, multiple Eagles fans, some writers putting this game on Jalen Hurts. Now, I don't understand how you could possibly do that when he's never, I want to say he's never in a position to win you the game, but he's not looked at as that guy with that offense, with that team, and he's not at all. If you're getting 17 attempts in the game that's this close and you're in a one possession game to win, that's just telling you they're not giving him the ball. He's not the guy like, here, go win this game. On the opposite side, Herbert, if you watch the last final 2 drives, it literally was Staley like, here, you need to win this game. This is a grind out game. It's an ugly game. You need to win this game. I don't understand. If anything, if we're blaming anybody, it should be blamed on Jonathan Gannon. Vanilla defenses, just sitting back in zone, letting Herbert sit back and read the whole field. Mind you, this is a week removed from the Lions game. I was at that stadium. That was the most exotic, different defense I've seen from Jonathan Gannon the whole season. He goes back to regular Jonathan Gannon a week later. Defense didn't play horrible, but you seen down the stretch when we needed stops, we couldn't get them because we're sitting back in that laid-back zone. We're just letting Herbert read the defense, not a lot of pressure with 4 guys, and he does what he does. I don't think any blame needs to be on Jalen Hurts. It is his 13th start. And in my opinion, personally, I said this about, I think 6-7 weeks ago, I'm not a buyer of Jalen Hurts. I'm not a seller. I'm in the same spot, if not a little bit towards more of me buying because he's gotten better. Does, like, there's throws he misses and you're like, dude, Jalen, come on. But every quarterback has those.
Right.
You can't.
Well, let's talk about utilizing. We talked about this with the podcast with Prop Holiday, and I was like, you got to start. You have always been mentioning the run game. my perspective on all of it is let's use our Heisman winner. Let's start utilizing more. We need more out of Devontae Smith. Give him chances. And what does he do? Over 100 yards and a touchdown.
It's just, I mean,
he didn't get the ball that many times, but you got to utilize your Heisman winner.
I mean, it's just hard when you're dropping your quarterback back 17 times.
Right.
Like, it's just tough. But we did get the running game going today a little bit more, or not today, on Sunday.
A lot of it was Jalen Hurts running too.
No, it was. But Jordan Howard's back in business with the Bears doing his thing. It would have been a huge win for us. A big confidence booster. The Link was fucking rocking. That's the one thing I peaked with when I watched that game. But I mean, it's just the Birds being the Birds. I need Jonathan Gannon to just realize. I mean, I understand. Okay, I want to get exotic versus the Lions. It's the fucking Lions. It's Jared Goff. When he gets off these scripted plays, we can go start getting after him a little bit. And you might have been scared of Justin Herbert a little bit. You don't want to go one-on-one with Mike Williams and Keenan on the outside. Completely understandable. But when it comes down to the come down, Jonathan Gannon, and we need 2 stops to win this game. Essentially 1, but it came down to 2 stops. We gotta just switch it up a little bit, a little more pressure.
It was
roll somebody down for me, show some blitzes and roll them back out. Like you can't let a guy like Justin Herbert just sit back and just diagnose your defense. And it's like, all right, I got 2 minutes left, and these guys are gonna sit back in cover 2, and they making me some 2-man cover 3 is like they're like, ugh. He's gonna just pick you apart. Like you can't. Like that's all I have.
Major day.
I need Jonathan Gannon gone. I need him gone. He's not gonna go anywhere.
That's the hot take of the evening. A major day for Keenan Allen as we move to our Sunday night showdown. The Titans in Los Angeles taking on the Rams. The Rams were minus 350 on the money line, and they choke on Matthew Stafford. 2 terrible back-to-back interceptions that lead to multiple points early on in this game, and the Titans win 28-16. So hurtful for me because I had the Rams in a moneyline parlay, and they were the last ones to hit.
Who didn't?
And Matthew Stafford with that, he gets hit. He tries to do that Carson Wentz little shuttle pass in it from his own end zone.
At least it was with his right hand. But holy shit!
The very next play is an easy, wide open touchdown, and then come back out. What does he do? Pick 6. So it was very weird to see Matthew Stafford like that. I would be very curious to see what Prop Holiday's thoughts are on that, because a lot of it, I mean, his stat line was plus 200 for over 2.5 touchdowns, and he obviously was nowhere near that. He didn't have a touchdown. He had 2 interceptions. But you got to give some hats off here to the Titans. A lot of people writing them off. Without Derrick Henry there, you have Adrian Peterson come in, and what does he do? His 125th career touchdown.
Look, he was 25. That man's in great fucking shape.
And they get the win.
I'm watching. So with this game, like this is one of those games where you have a -7.5 line. Obviously, it's the first game they're missing Derrick Henry. But I bet on the Rams. Disclaimer: I bet on the Rams. But I said this to my boy at the casino before this game comes on. I'm like, dude, to be honest, like I'm going to bet Rams money line because the Titans shouldn't be 7.5 point underdogs here. Obviously, they lost 70, damn near 80% of their offense. But I mean, this is a 6-2 team coming to that. They're 17 now. This is a 6-2 team, and there's 7.5 point dog. I mean, they're going to compete. And what I told him was, when you lose your best player, that's when you see other parts of your team start stepping up. And that defense, that's one thing they've always hung their hat on the last 3 years. I didn't say they necessarily stepped. They did more than they had to do. Give me 2 picks, 2 in our plus area. You didn't have to take the second one back to the crib. We would have scored regardless. Give me 2 turnovers in my plus area in the second quarter. We're golden. Matthew Stafford, what the fuck was that, bro? I can't, like, the thing is, when they showed the pick from the back view, you see him spin around, and he had, like, green grass this way, green grass this way. He just so happens to throw right to the linebacker. Like, come on, man.
Well, the one that was just so mind-boggling to me was the one when he was in his own end zone. It was almost identical to the Carson Wentz one.
It was identical.
Just a week prior.
That's what I'm saying.
He just does the shuttle pass, which like...
He had green grass to both sides, but since he's fucking spinning around and not looking, he just fucking right to the linebacker. At least throw with his right hand, though, because Carson Wentz, I don't know what the fuck you're on with your left hand, but I mean, that's a huge win for the Titans, though. That's a huge confidence booster, because I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a possibility that Derrick Henry comes back for the playoffs. So if they can play like this, and then in the back of their minds, like, yo, we can get Derrick back too, and even if we don't get Derrick back, we can still do this. I mean, they're still booming.
That was a game
they're still booming in Nashville. That's like one of those games. Like, it reminds me when. So not the first time Carson Wentz went down, but the second time when we were like, okay, and then Nick Foles came in, it's like, oh, we're done. And then we can step up a little bit. It's like, oh, we might have something here. I feel like that's how they felt on Nashville. Good for them. I was kind of writing them off. I thought the Colts were going to take this division. So
I mean, that's the point of this game, is that a lot of people are writing these guys off in this game, as they should. I mean, you're going home, or you're going into Los Angeles for a home game for the Rams. and you come out on top and you hold them to 16 points. So a huge win there. We'll head to our Sunday afternoon slate. The Browns in Cincinnati taking on Joe Burrow and the boys, and what a rout. What a rout. Nick Chubb leading the boys, leading the Brownies, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Browns win this one 41-16 without Odell Beckham. I'm not saying that's like a huge thing to say, but just saying because of this news, he wants to play for a contender, yada, yada. Browns win this one 41-16.
Yeah, the Bengals, it was a theme the first couple of weeks. We were telling teams to come back down to earth, and with the Bengals, I think when they were a couple weeks ago when they beat the Ravens, people were saying that might be the best team in the AFC or top 2, top 3. Let's just come on back down.
You know what we got to do is we have to rise up from this win from the Browns, because I have to say it every week now that they're doing.
Are we back?
We said AFC North winners are these Browns.
Are we back?
So we might be okay.
This is one of those things too. Like for my boy Devin Law, who said that Joe Burrow is a bust. This is one of those games where you had the up and downs of young quarterbacks. Where here it is. He fucking sucks. Look at that pick 6 he threw. They're fine. This was a typical letdown spot and a typical spot for the Browns to get back because all the OBJ news. I don't really have too much. I mean, it's just the Browns do what the Browns do. Let's ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. Let's get Baker Mayfield moving out the pocket with these play actions now because Nick Chubb's already gashing them for 100 yards and we're good here. Donovan Peoples-Jones had a big game. I'm not gonna make that prediction right now. But looking at the AFC North, I'm not really confident in the Ravens at all. Like we'll get to their game. They got a big win and a big comeback win, but look how they've been winning these games. Obviously, okay, division winners, playoff winners, Super Bowl teams, they get wins like that where you gut them out. But
but let's think about this.
Cleveland's right there.
Baker has 14 completions on 21 passes, and Nick Chubb runs the ball. He gets 14 carries.
Yeah,
it's 28 total, like correct or conversions on offense.
Right.
28 total plays that converted on offense.
Right.
14 passing, 14 rushing for Nick Chubb. Now that's minus the 9 other carries on that that were given to the Browns in that game. I mean, what does that say about how productive that offense was? You're really not doing that much offensively.
It's just
you don't have many chances, yet you are producing so many high-tier offensive caliber plays.
It's the
getting the job done.
It's a staple of a Kevin Stefanski offense.
And this is a route.
If we can get the ball, if we can get the ground game moving, like I think there's nothing that like I think Kevin Stefanski's cock gets so hard when the ball is just moving on the ground because he's like, my playbook is fucking. I have so many different directions. And you can see it. Like they will run regular drop back, like a spread 4 wide concept in their passing game out of single back play action. It's just so creative in so many ways they can get you moving because Nick Chubb already has 120 yards on us. We have to respect it. It's just so dangerous. I'm mad it didn't work out with Odell though. I mean, I'm actually really upset.
Wants to be on a contender.
I thought it was a perfect situation.
I saw some Adam
seen some in the group chat today. They were talking about the Giants with Odell.
Yeah,
how you feel about that?
I saw some. I don't know if I want him back. We don't need him. You're giving Kenny Galladay 4 for 72. I mean, what was he doing? So I don't need to go into that. But we'll head to our.
You let Kenny G live, man.
I gotta let this man. I don't even know if I can at this point. We'll go to our next 1 p.m. game, and this was probably the biggest upset of the weekend. The Broncos in Dallas, 30-16. Broncos over the Cowboys, and to start this off, the Cowboys' 16 points all came in the fourth quarter. They were shut out for 3 quarters. This is a team that many people had going into this week as the best team in the NFL, and you are scoreless in 3 quarters.
Tim fucking Patrick.
Yeah, bro.
Teddy Two Gloves.
What
is good with y'all? Like, good looks on the dub, but one big takeaway I have from this game, I think the jury is out on Trayvon Diggs. Am I wrong for saying so? Listen, still having a great year. Turnovers, yes. All that, yes. But if you look at Trayvon Diggs' history, right? Wide receiver at Bama. Think about wide receivers, not the most physical guys. If you look how Trayvon Diggs plays defense, not the most physical. I'm not saying he's soft, but not the most physical guy, not the most imposing stature at all. Is that the book on him? Let's put Tim Patrick on him. Let's get a mismatch on him. Let's get a guy that's a little more physical on him. Throw some balls, throw jump balls up at him. He can't do that as well. What he can do really well is sit back in his zone, read my quarterback's eyes, sit back in man zone, read the quarterback's eyes, and make a play on the ball. But when it comes to playing another physically imposing player, that might be the jury out on Trayvon Diggs. I'm not ready to say it yet. Cowboys, this is just alarming. Good for Vic Fangio. Good for Denver Broncos company. Vic Fangio was literally coaching for his job today, and you could. I mean, not today. I'm still thinking we're recording on Sundays. Recording on Monday. Vic Fangio literally was coaching for his job on Sunday. That's a huge.
How about talk about
Huge win
CeeDee
for
Lamb? He's got 2 catches on 9
Facts.
targets. 2 catches on 9 targets.
I mean, that offense. Denver was doing a lot of things on defense to him that they didn't look settled in until about 8 minutes left in the fourth. Like even after the first score, they still didn't look really.
I'm
settled.
surprised they got the 2 scores and the conversions there. That but a large majority of this game, even when we started the third quarter, started the second half of this game, it was like, I mean, I still don't think that they have a chance to win this game.
No, absolutely not.
Still don't think they have a chance to win this game.
I'm just really like this whole that whole Trayvon Diggs like kind of narrative has me on one right now. I just think, is that the jury? Like, if we put DK on Trayvon, is he not Trayvon anymore? If we put another, like, I'm really interested to see how that plays out going forward, because I mean, it was looking like this might be the best defensive player we've ever seen going through the first. They might have 2 of the defensive player, rookies of the year, him and Micah Parsons. Now it's like, okay, Trayvon, let's look at you. Like, the tape gets out, people see your weaknesses. Still a great player, guys. Please don't get it twisted. Like, please don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, this is because they was looking at a point where we're like, we cannot beat this guy. Then Matt hits him with that double move, and it's like, okay, there's some things we can beat him with. And we put some size on him with Tim Patrick. Okay. Some adjustments we can make going forward. The Birds really can't do too much about that, but oh well, we'll see. Is there something to follow with this Cowboys team going forward? I think they're fine. They're fine. It was a huge letdown spot. They covered like 6 straight spreads, 7 straight spreads.
Call.
Big wake up call. Shout out Vic Fangio and the boys saving his fucking job.
Saving it, baby. Let's head to our next game that pretty much nobody gave a damn about, really.
Facts.
I mean, really.
Shout out Tyrod though.
Shout out Tyrod. The Texans and the Dolphins in Miami. And the Dolphins get the job done 17-9. I mean, again, this is a boring game nobody really cares about, but have to highlight the rookie receiver, Jalen Waddle, with 8 catches,
Facts.
83 yards. And the Myles Gaskin call from
Hey, Cat.
who else
Hey,
other
Cat.
than El Capitan.
Hey, Cat.
He had him for 12 and a half
Tell him.
carries, and he
Yes,
beat that by a
boy.
large margin with
Tell him.
20 carries. Sure, he only had 34 yards
Tell
on the
him.
ground, but that wasn't the bet. The bet was over 12 and a half
Perfect
carries, and he
call.
hit that immensely with 20 carries. Good win for the Dolphins.
Look at Jacoby Brissett back in the saddle. Look at Jacoby. It's so crazy with this Dolphins team, because with the whole Tua shit, he goes down and people are like, oh, is he faking the injury again? And now he's back with the ribs and something with a finger.
How
or
about
something.
the switcheroo from the Dolphins quarterbacks for while Tua has been there for his
Yeah,
tenure?
it's just-
You're going Fitzmagic, Brissett, back to Tua both times, and when these quarterbacks are said, you know what, it's time for you to go.
Mind
You're up today.
Think of their weapons, young
did
weapons. Waddle, Gaskin, Gesicki, like Devontae Parker still, I mean, he's been in the league for a little bit, but he's not I guess he is a vet now for that team. But I mean, these are young guys having to deal with a bunch of different systems over and over again. Shout out to my guy Tyrod, though, no matter what they throw at
Yeah,
him
baby.
in his way, my man still comes back and finds a way to start and play on Sundays. Shout out Tyrod Taylor. That's just my guy personally, but I mean, big win for the Dolphins. I mean, what else do you have in this fucking
Yeah,
shit game?
it's a simple game. There's not much to say. The Dolphins are 2-7, and the Texans are 1-8. Nobody gives a shit.
Yo, my thing is though, like the Dolphins, like
I mean, really, sorry guys. Like what?
yo, B-Flow, like Flores, what's going on down there? Before the season, Flores, we were looking at AFC East champions potentially. Now we're looking at who's in the draft coming up. Like, we are going to be a top.
That's-
Oh wait, do they even have They don't even have the draft
Who's
pick.
in the draft coming up?
They don't even have I don't think they have a draft pick. Flores, I'm rooting for you, Brian Flores, but we got to get together down there, boss.
All right, let's go to our divisional matchup. The Falcons in New Orleans taking on the Saints. The Falcons win this one 27-25. A late comeback, 22 fourth quarter points for the Saints, but it is not enough. Younghoe Koo with a game-winning field goal, and I have to say this about Younghoe Koo. Prop Holiday's lock of the week was Koo for over 5.5 points. And he had a field goal, and those 3 touchdowns easily cashed that. But again, he had that game-winning field goal to do it anyway. So another cash for the lock of the week for Prop
Did the
Holiday.
6.5 cash? Because I saw when I got it at 6.5, and I was
He
like,
had 2
I
field goals and he
gotta
had 3
stay.
touchdowns.
I saw 6.5, and I was like, I gotta stay away. I didn't take it, but he still.
I mean,
he still
a
cashed
great
it.
lock of the week.
Shout
for
out
Prop Holiday.
Natty Ice. You know he cracked the Natty Ice at halftime and said, I gotta
Yeah,
get
he
fucking
did.
rejuvenated, lead the
Yeah,
boys
he
back.
did.
What a game. I mean, the Falcons I'm not even saying that. They were up most of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor Siemian leads the boys back. I mean, there was that little people were saying, well, should it be Taysom Hill starting? Should it be Trevor Siemian starting? That's an argument that needs to be had. I personally think it should be Siemian. Honestly, I mean, I think you can just use Taysom Hill in certain spots, use him a little more than you usually would, but I think Trevor should be in the center for the most part there. This was a fucking hell of a game, though. Like, it's another, like, how can we figure out what Cordell Patterson is going to do the week before? How do you cap it?
So
I should ask Han and Prop Holiday, like, do you guys even look at Cordell Patterson? Because one week it's like, do I know if he's going to catch the ball, he's going to run the ball?
Right. Well,
he has the catch to put him in field goal range at the end of the game. Like, I can't cap this guy.
So the story of tonight between you and me, talking about, we've been talking basketball tonight too, and we're talking about different teams, and you one player away, right? You need this guy, and you're fine, right? So this is where I'm going with this, right? You remember this conversation. This is where I'm going with this. The Falcons need a running back.
Yep.
They got Kyle Pitts, they got their tight end, they got their wide receiver, quote unquote.
Right.
They need a running back. They need somebody that can run the ball. They don't have somebody that can consistently run the ball because normally it's Cordell Patterson. But today, Sunday, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, same shit.
Sunday, he's catching the ball for over 100 yards. So there's got to... it doesn't matter to them. They got the win. They got a great divisional win. But it's something to think about. You need to find a run game. And in the first game of the season, when they played the Eagles, the run game was great in that first half. They're capable of doing it. Your whole storyline this season is the run game is underrated.
Yep.
Run the football. Run the rock.
I mean, that's what the teams that win this. I guess the teams that win the Super Bowl, the teams that can run the ball and stop the run. You saw it last year, prime example. But shout out Arthur Smith, low key, because when he came to the Falcons from the Titans, he had that system with Derrick Henry. People were like, all right, this guy's gonna have an immaculate run offense for us, and he kind of did. The first game versus the Eagles, they were gashing the Birds first half running the ball. Mike Davis looked good. He's fallen off so far this season, but he even looked good. But you can see Arthur Smith kind of shift from that. All right, I'm coming here and now I just want to run the ball. Now I'm shifting it like, all right, I got to use my guys for what they can be used for. Let me move Cordell Patterson around. Yep. Let me just let Matty Ice throw that shit out. Kyle Pitts, you don't want to have your hand in the dirt? Okay, let me split you out a little bit more. Let me have you in some different routes. I mean, that we were looking at him. We didn't get him as a coach. Us as the Eagles. I mean, that's a damn good coach. Obviously, the Falcons aren't going to be. You're not going to see that come to fruition for a couple years, and we can revisit this take on a podcast in about 3-4 years when we're in a panel somewhere. But Arthur Smith. Telling you that man's a great coach. He's gonna do some things down there in Atlanta. He just needs to get another quarterback to succeed Matt Ryan, and I think they'll be just fine to come in some time. But I mean, big fucking win. Matty Ice cracked the natty light, got the boys back into play.
Yes, sir. All right, let's head to the Patriots and the Panthers. Panthers hosting the Patriots, and
I just can't.
Wow. Patriots win this one 24-6. We're going to get into a little bit of debate. I know what you want to talk about. I'm going to say this first. Sam Darnold, 16 for 33, 172. That's not what matters. The 3 interceptions is what matters. Sam Darnold is this year, last year with the Jets, he is Josh Rosen. This is UCLA. This is USC quarterbacks. This is Josh Rosen. That's who you are, Sam Darnold. You are going to move to be that backup bench that we don't hear about forever anymore because nobody cares about Josh Rosen now. You are Josh Rosen. That's who you are. 3 interceptions. What changed, buddy? Tell me. I mean, what have you done differently on the Panthers than what you did with the Jets? Everyone's like, oh my God, he had a good 2 games. He had a good 3 games. Panthers looked really good. We're way over our heads. And then, what did we do? Came all the way back down to earth. And you lose to the Patriots in a game that, if you don't throw 3 goddamn interceptions, you're in this game.
Hey, one was in the red zone. But what was that little clip? They are who we thought they were. That is exactly what I saw watching the Panthers play that game at the casino. They are exactly who we thought they were. And when this brought up early in the week when they were 3-0, or early in the podcast when we were 3-0, we're like, what about the Panthers? What about the Panthers to us on the podcast? And we're like, they could have a chance.
We weren't high on the Panthers.
Now, what I will say is we can side back to my takes on Sam Darnold. And I was saying with Sam Darnold, when it was in New York, it was 30% good and 70% bad. And I said, listen, so far, and this is when they were 3-0, it's been Sam Darnold 70, even 80% good, 30% bad. We can just throw that take out the window. The book's out on Sam Darnold. We know who he is.
You're done, buddy.
Media, I don't think he's done. See, that's where me and you differ. I think Sam Darnold could be a quarterback.
No faith in this man.
I think Sam Darnold can be a quarterback on a good team. And then you're going to be like, you're a fucking idiot. Honestly, this is his only chance. I mean, PJ Walker, I love PJ Walker, Temple guy. Him and Matt Rule had the Temple connection. So
XFL guy, too. What a stud.
It could happen, but I don't see PJ Walker overtaking Sam Darnold's spot unless they bring somebody in. But it's going to be Sam Darnold's team this year and possibly next year. And he's going to have another trial run and give this another shot. Now, to get CMC back, I think there's a little bit of a do we feed CMC today or do we get this ball to Sam Darnold and let him figure out? You know what I mean? I think there was a little bit of a first game back for CMC. We'll figure this out. I think he'll be okay moving forward. He won't be great, Sam Darnold. It's gonna be his job to lose for the next year to 2 years.
We have to highlight too that Mac Jones had that dirty play.
Yeah,
we have to mention this too with the ankle twist.
Yeah,
the ankle twist there. Everyone's kind of talking about
dirty
that.
Play, not dirty play.
It's a dirty play. I mean,
there's no
just
play.
scummy.
There's no play.
That's just scummy.
And his thing is he said he did get fucking rocked. And
yeah,
he
but that's just so scummy, dude. What are you doing?
His argument was I was disoriented. I thought he had the ball.
Oh, shut up! You can literally see in the clip. He's like twisting his ankle.
Me thinking
dirty as hell.
I can think you have the ball all I want. I'm not gonna grab the front and the back of your foot and like, you know what I mean? If I think you're a ball carrier, I'm just gonna wrap up your legs.
Yeah,
like
that's so dirty.
I didn't take Mac Jones from one of these dudes. I didn't at all.
Seriously, I didn't either.
I didn't at all. It's really alarming. I don't know people backing up Mac Jones on social media. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I just would love to know, like, if you could just drop in this chat, why? Because that is just
it makes no sense.
That might be the worst. I forget who it was we were talking about. I forget who it was. It was last year, 2 years ago, but that's definitely worse than that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that one because that one was a full rotation.
We stopped dropping the ball on that motherfucker.
We did, but it's still just a dirty play for Mac Jones. I mean, you guys are winning the game. I don't care. You got to hit hard or whatever. I mean, that's just. Now you're intentionally trying to hurt somebody. So there's not much to say on that. Mac Jones, that's dirty. Let's go to I shouldn't even say the biggest upset of the weekend. This is the biggest upset of the weekend. Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Buffalo Bills and Urban Meyer. We get to say that Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, Mustache Lawrence, get the win 9-6 over the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, that Urban Meyer guy, he not bad when his hands are on the play call sheet and not on some. He not bad.
Get him off the microphone.
He's not bad.
Get him off the microphone.
When he's doing his job, he's not bad. Shout out Josh Allen for picking off fucking Josh Allen. I think that's the coolest shit ever.
I was about to say, which one are you talking about?
Points to the fucking jersey at the back. I'm the real Josh Allen, motherfucker.
I'm him.
But yo, shouts to the Jags. Like, what the fuck? Listen, I did have the Bills in the money line parlay. And yes, I'm still really salty about it. But part of me just can't help but be happy for Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. That team's been through so much. I mean, my coach didn't hop on the flight. I should never win number one overall. I wish I got the 2 at least.
I want to mention this.
This is huge for them. At home, this is huge for them going forward. Obviously, it's going to be hard for Urban Meyer to shake that whole situation with his whole but these are the wins that he needs to be like, listen, I can coach in the league. You guys think I'm a CEO? I personally think he's just a CEO. I think he's just a great recruiter and can build a good staff around him. I could be wrong. This is one of the wins that starts proving people wrong. Let's go, Urban Meyer. Let's change the narrative a little bit.
Mustache Lawrence, and I do want to mention this. I saw a TikTok, and it was highlighting what current NFL players have been on the Manning cast, the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning Monday Night Football broadcast. And last week was Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And the whole narrative around this TikTok was...
Is there a Madden curse?
It's if you're on the Manning cast, current player, you lose that very next week. So that's happened now for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
Yep.
So I sent a text to Manny, and I sent this TikTok to him, and I'm like, all right, this is something we have to look towards. Because Peyton and Eli don't have every game. They only signed for like 8 or 9 games to do this season. So the thing that we have to look towards now is whoever goes on that show next, we can just sprinkle some money on. Because now, if I knew this, and we were saying this now,
he's so much better than me.
Let's throw $4 or $5 on
Jags,
so
much better than me.
On Jags money line.
You're
you know
so
what I mean?
much better.
Because like it's over the Bills, bro. You're not picking the Bills over the Jags.
After I see Gronk go in there and they lose, and now you tell me what that stat, and then I see Josh Allen go in there and they lose. I'm looking at
you know what I mean though? Like we're
on the next kind of weekend. Yeah, we're looking.
So we have to look at
this. Is why you catch the live show and you watch our shit, because now we got some shit.
Now you know, okay? So if you see a current NFL player on the Peyton and Eli Monday Night Football broadcast,
we hammer the opposite money line.
Whoever that player is, whoever they're playing next week, take them on the money line. That's something to take away from this game as the Jags.
This might be
upset.
This might be the only trend where I do not condone responsible gambling, because you just don't see.
Fine.
I mean, you just don't see.
That's totally fine by me.
We'll keep track of that. We'll keep a little ticker on the podcast every week. Every reaction show. We're like, all right.
2-hour overtime game of the week. I feel like we get an overtime game every week. The Ravens hosting the Vikings, and they get the job done with a costly turnover from the Vikings late into overtime, and the Ravens win this one 34-31 over the Minnesota Vikings.
The poor Vikings, bro. Like we lose the Cooper Rush. We come right back and we have a lead versus Lamar Jackson, and Lamar's the shit out of us. I mean, I think he had like 250, 3 touchdowns, another 100 through the ground. I mean, he's hitting Hollywood Brown all over the field doing his thing. It's just Lamar being Lamar, and we've been saying this. I can't.
Born leader.
I wish we could just I wish we could just play your clip from a couple weeks ago right now. Why are we giving this Lamar Jackson the same, if not more, respect than 2019 Lamar Jackson? He's doing more with less.
Right.
You look at this Ravens team coming in this season, all the injuries, COVID situations, everything going on. This team was written off bad. I mean, honestly. Listen, you guys can attest. I don't know. If you're better than me, you're better than me. But I watch a lot of football. I'm really investing into this thing. Like, this is a whole thing for me. When this season started, I'm like the Ravens. Like, what? They got the Brownies in the North. Personally, with Lamar Jackson doing what he's doing right now, I mean, all right, Devontae Freeman, like, you've been stepping up, bro. Kudos to you. But the way he's carrying the running game, the passing game, this is the best Lamar Jackson we've seen. He needs that respect and that love, and nothing makes me more happy than seeing Lamar do his thing. It's just a beautiful thing, and I just need this man to get his respect. I'm gonna keep harping on it. You're gonna get so annoyed. I think every time you guys see a reaction show come up for a week and then the Ravens win a game, you're gonna know, oh, here comes man. He's talking about Lamar Jackson again. But it just has to be done. My personal opinion, I don't want to make it too political right now, but there's some other quarterbacks that if they're doing what he was doing, I mean, we're hearing some noise. That's all I'm gonna say. We're hearing a lot more noise.
Right, so and I'm just gonna say, because the narrative is, and I said this on a TikTok, I said this on a podcast. Manny just mentioned it. Lamar Jackson he deserves to have the same amount of respect that he did in the MVP season than he is right now.
More, bro.
And we're overlooking that. And obviously, it sucks that we have to, Lamar this, Lamar that, when we can't highlight anything from the Vikings. But the dude's throwing for over 250 yards, running the ball over 100 yards. He also ran the ball over 20 times. This man is single-handedly carrying the offense. What other player are you saying? Can you say that's doing that?
That's 41 pass attempts, 21 rushing attempts. I would love the number. I don't have the number on how many total plays they ran, but that's 60% of their offense at least.
And he's still able to lead the team.
70
he's
probably.
Doing all this, and we're crunch time. We have to go in this game. He's never in that situation to be like, I did it all. It's all me.
Shout out
team player.
Shout out that boy Tuck. Shout out that boy Tuck.
Justin Tucker. We're all kickers this weekend, guys.
Another one.
Big kickers this weekend.
That's got to be the GOAT.
We got
Mount Rushmore for sure.
We got Bozzy, and we got the homie and the GOAT, Justin Tucker. All right, let's go to our Aaron Rodgers-less Packers. The Packers in Kansas City taking on the Chiefs, and the Chiefs win this one 13-17. Steve Spagnuolo's third down blitz calls on defense put a halt to Jordan Love's first career start.
Chiefs Kingdom. I mean, we gotta be kind of worried here. We've been worried all season, but like this is like the week. Like this is the get right week. No Rodgers. This is the get right week. We're at home. We have Jordan Love coming to Arrowhead. Like this should be a 30-point massacre.
Yeah.
Jordan Love though didn't look terrible. I mean, there was some throws he made. He's obviously missing a little bit. There's a couple more. He had one pick, but there's a couple of those were like, that could have easily been a pick.
Aaron Jones said after, when they asked him what he thought about his leadership, and he's like, he was always in the game. He never got down on himself. To see him come in the huddle, all right, guys, clapping in the huddle. We need to play. We need a big play. We need a big play. To see that out of a young quarterback, his first career start. Even Jordan Love said in his press conference after, he's like, look, I mean, I was nervous at the beginning, and he missed 2 throws right off the bat, and it forced a 3-and-out in that first opening sequence there. But we got to give some credit. You're asked on a short week for yourself to hear about this news that Rodgers is not going to be able to play in a major game against the Chiefs. But on the Chiefs side, let's flip it to them. We've been shaky on the Chiefs. Everybody's been shaky. Where is this Chiefs team?
Hey,
this Chiefs team has not looked like a team that has been back to 3 straight AFC championships.
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
That's not that team.
Why you gotta watch this show? I'm pretty sure we were the first sellers of the Chiefs.
We said it, and I remember. I got.
It was
people sliding up on my Instagram story saying you're wrong.
We were just saying off the eye test.
I said it.
Off the eye test, I'm like, there's something not the same about.
They don't look good.
Goes back to what I said when in that clip, that 3 to 4 year window thing. They're at the end of that 3 to 4 year window, and it's kind of closing.
They are.
I just got to go back to Jordan Love. I got to show him some love. I think the way he handled his pregame pressures, even like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, how he handled the game. I mean, it wasn't a great game for him at all. It easily could have been put on him for the loss. I mean, it won't be. But like that kid's just I'm not gonna say he's the right successor for Aaron Rodgers. We have no idea yet.
Well, here's the other thing,
we have
too.
no idea. But for that, say Aaron Rodgers leaves after this year, for that 1 year of like let's figure it the fuck out. There's no better guy for them to have than Jordan Love
But
now.
here's the thing with that: if Aaron Rodgers does leave, the Packers' only real in-game experience that they're gonna have to go back to look towards to be like, oh, Jordan Love's the guy, is this game.
Yep.
And I think that's a little unfair. You got to play in our head that this is the only game where we're gonna say make or break. Are you gonna be the guy if Aaron leaves? Yes or no? And I think it's a tough question.
I have a question to pose to you when it comes to the Packers. So the thing about the Packers defense this year has been like that. I mean, they're a decent defense, but like it's vintage Packers. Like we're bend no break, and we need like a couple turnovers to really push over the hump to kind of get these teams stops. That was not the case. The defense was flying around, playing probably their best defensive game they played all year. So when they get Rodgers back, when he does his whole thing with his whole thing with the whole thing, get that whole thing figured out. Is that the team coming out the NFC?
I don't know if I can.
Because me personally, I just haven't seen. Listen, I'm gonna say I haven't seen enough from the Bucks, but if you look at the Bucks team last year, we haven't seen enough from the Bucks through 9 weeks last year. Anyway,
Now
as well.
I said we did a tea party with Kilkenny, and I said, and that's coming out pretty soon for you guys, but that's besides the point. I said I wanted to see off-camera stuff. We were just talking about it, and I was like, I want to see Aaron Rodgers go back in an NFC Championship, take on the Bucks. And I want to see him win this time.
Right.
So I'll say yes, just because I'm rooting. I want to see this Packers team move on. They need to, like you said, they need to get over the hump, and this is their chance now.
I feel like they built over, like, especially the defense. They've built over years and years and years. First, 2 years ago, I feel like it started like, all right, our defense is definitely the weak point. Like, we're just opportunistic. Like, throw the ball away once or drop the ball once, and we're good. The next year, it kind of comes along, all right, we're a little bit better, but we're not good enough to stop Brady in the bunch, and we're not opportunistic enough to get enough picks on him. And now it's like I feel like they're taking another step forward. I'm just something to look at during the year that defense has, how they come along. Because I think they're primed for a run.
But
We were saying this for a while, but I think they're primed for a run.
The narrative for that game simply was the fact that this is America's game of the week. We're on Fox, Joe Buck and Troy, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs come out with 13 points, and Mahomes is under 200 yards passing. This is the moral of this as we close this game out, is this is not the Chiefs team that has been to 3 straight back-to-back-to-back AFC Championships games, and we're 5-4. Who the hell was going to say 5-4 for the Chiefs after 9 games? Let's move to the now 8-1 Cardinals, led by Colt McCoy, and they beat the 49ers in San Francisco 31-17. Let's mention this about Colt McCoy. When he was asked last season, I need you to go win a big game when our starting quarterback is out.
Yep.
Who was he on? He was on the New York Giants. Daniel Jones was out. They go into Seattle. Sure, the defense did a lot of that win, but he got the job done. What does he do here? Sure, was he not really a big part of this game? James Conner, pretty much doing all the work with 3 touchdowns. That is A-okay. Colt McCoy leads a great win for the plus 200 Arizona Cardinals on the money line. Cardinals 31, 49ers 17.
I mean, the Cards just doing what the Cards do. We win ugly games. These are the ugly games that when I told you in February why I love this Cardinals team so much this year is because the ugly games they lost last year by 6 or less points are the games they're going to win this year.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not a 6 or less. This isn't a 1-possession game, but this is another just ugly game. Backward quarterback, we're missing D-Hop, but we got to find a way to win this game to get the dub. One thing I'll say, you said Colt McCoy didn't look spectacular at all, and he didn't. But I mean, if you just read the box score, you might think he had a better game than he had.
Sure.
But when you talk about making throws, when you need to make them. He made one throw when he was on their 1 yard line, back up in their end zone, 50-yard dot. I'm almost positive it was the Christian Kirk in between 2 defenders. That's the shit when you're the back quarterback. Like, yes, okay, James Conner's gonna have to take one of these screens 60 yards to the house. Okay, yes, Chase Edmonds gonna have to help me out, come out the backfield. He got hurt that game too, which is I hope he's okay because that's huge for them. I hope he's all right. But he made the throws he had to make when he needed to make them, and it's just like it's crazy to me. Like I think it's a winning. I think and you said the thing about the Giants, getting the big win for the Giants last year, and that could be correct. I think it's a winning culture thing. I think this is one of those things where it's like, listen, yo, no matter who's lined up outside for D-Hop, no matter who comes up under center, we are winning games.
That's a really good point.
It doesn't matter at all. And that's the thing you see with great teams, what they do. It's like, okay, we're missing a couple guys, we don't skip a beat. My backups are just as confident as my MVP guy. We might just have the same publicity. I'm definitely not as good, but same confidence, same expectations. And that you can kind of tell a team how they step and how they play. Them coming out fast for the 49ers kind of tells you that too. Like there was no blip in confidence. They completely believe we should blow this team out how we've been blowing everyone else out. And it's good to see for me as a Cards backer and then anyone else as a Cardinals fan.
I mean, I have to highlight it every week. You are a Cards backer.
The one thing that has me worried about them, and I hate this narrative when it comes to NFL. the whole peaking at the right time, wrong time kind of narrative thing, but like they could be peaking at the wrong time. Hopefully, it's a long season. We'll see though.
I don't know if I can go. I don't know if I can go on that.
We'll see. I just these teams that start the first 9 weeks 8-0, 9-0. It's like all right.
I have to say that as a backup quarterback, Colt McCoy, he's 22 for 26.
Come on,
that's 4 incompletions for a backup quarterback. Yeah, I did say that. All of it's going to get overlooked from James Conner.
Because it wasn't.
Your backup quarterback comes in and gets the win.
No, you're right. It really wasn't spectacular, but it's just making the throws when you need to make them. Constantly
and you get the win.
Over again.
We will close out this week 9 with our Thursday night showdown. The Jets in Indianapolis taking on the Colts. And what a game that easily could have been overlooked as a easy under bet. Turns into a 45-30 win for the Colts. Wow, Jonathan Taylor, another huge day. And Carson Wentz, another great day himself.
I was about to say, if you bet the under this game, raise your hand. Crickets. That's what I thought. What the fuck, bro? This bitch hit 75? Are you shitting me? Josh Johnson. Hello. Let's go, Josh Johnson. Listen, we were looking for Mike White Lightning. Okay, let me collect myself. What is this with the Jets, though? Because Zach Wilson is the guy.
No, I got to talk about this. I got to say, hey, Zach Wilson.
Then here comes Mike.
You're on the hot seat, buddy.
And then here comes Mike White Lightning. Okay? Mike White Lightning looks like 2 times what Zach Wilson was. But then here comes Josh Johnson, who could possibly, you could say, look better than Mike White Lightning did.
He did.
He looked good. So, dude, the Jets just have 2 quarterbacks that are better than Zach Wilson sitting at bay right there, just waiting to be picked up by teams? Or are they just 2 quarterbacks that got hot?
To say,
no pressure?
Hey, Zachy boy, we're out.
I think it might be a little bit of the pressure with Zach Wilson. Obviously, he's draft stock and all that going on, and obviously, like I think he might start pressing a little bit because he knows who he is. Like I think that when you see the way Mike White and Josh Johnson played, it's just so loose. Yeah, so loose. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not thinking. I'm not doing a little too much shuffling. I mean, Zach Wilson's a rookie, so all right. But other side,
bro, shine some light on Carson Wentz. 3 touchdowns. No picks.
I'm not Jonathan fucking Taylor.
I know he's just
right now. Jonathan Taylor's a top 5 back. I think
100%. Why would he not?
I think he solidified it last year with his. I think he had 1,100 or I think it was like 1,188 rushing yards. I think he solidified his top 5 spot last year. But if you wanted a little more reassurance this year, he hit that gap.
I was just gonna say.
What did Agency Peters say when he ran that ball? He hit that gap, and that's 4.3 speed. That's cheetah speed. That's Olympic speed. Like, and he's a big ball. People forget about that with Jonathan Taylor because you see him take off for that 80-yard touchdown pass that he had, and this 72-yard run that he had. Like, okay, that's 4.2, 4.3 speed. Yeah, for sure. This guy can outlift you. He will run you over. He will jump over you. He's a special back.
He just hits the whole vet. He's got a lot of power behind him when he
will be a top 5 back in this league until he decides not to play anymore. That kid is special.
Yep, he's very good. I mean, you have to shine some light on your boy Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he's just me personally for like
272 and 3 touchdowns, no picks. That's a game that
I mean for guys, that's why I wasn't like the weeks before when it was like Carson Wentz doing his thing. I had to make sure like, hey, Carson Wentz is doing his thing, fuckers. Okay, right. Look now. People like me and people that were big Carson Wentz guys back in the day that
we knew this, right?
It's like, yeah, bro.
We knew this.
Look, I mean, it's big rat.
Exactly.
It's 11, not 11 anymore. It's deuce. But hey, look at him go. All right, look at him go. You know what's funny too about that team? It's like, what do you think that conversation was with him and Michael Pittman? It's just like, dude.
I think at the beginning it was
let me get my fucking number, bro.
Yeah, but I think Pittman was like, he said at the beginning, he was like, I was here first. I'm not moving my number. And I'm like, that's fine, bro. You picked 11 when you were on the Colts. He was messing around on the Eagles, not performing like he should have been.
You think so you think
that's what he said. That's what Pittman said. He literally said, he's like, I'm not giving my number. I'm 11 here.
All right.
I'm number 11 in Indianapolis. You can be number 11 in Philly, but not here.
So Carson Wentz, his last year with Philly, with the whole falling out, if that isn't what it was, and he has like a Carson Wentz year, do you think he gets that number?
Totally.
Okay, that's all. Because I think it was a little gangster checking, like yo, Carson, you ain't been throwing that bitch around enough to get my number, bro, at all. I don't even need to see that. Low key, what if we see like Pittman come out next year like 18, and like you see Carson Wentz in 11?
He's like finally back to 11 because he had a great year. Wait, Colts moved to 4-5, and the Jets down to 2-6. But we'll see what happens with Mike White Lightning, Josh Johnson, as my pen falls.
What the hell?
And Zachy BYU Wilson. That will close out our Week 9 NFL reactions. We were officially through the halfway point of this NFL season. Can't believe we're already saying that. Remember when we were in Week 4 and we're like, dude, we're a month in. Time flies. I said it before in Week 4 when we were a month in. Time flies. when football is on. And we can easily say 2 months are now gone throughout this football season. If you're watching on Twitter, you can follow us on our Twitter page at 80ED Podcast and our Instagram for all our updates at 80ED Pod. Follow us on the TikTok, the All Day Everyday Show. Get us to 1,000 followers, and we will be going live on there. And if you want to see the fellas live, we will be streaming on Twitch when we return. From Auburn University this week on Wednesday, now about a day and a half from now, we will be on a flight down to Auburn, Alabama, to the University of Auburn to make a lot of content. We're doing tea parties down there. We're going to the Auburn Mississippi State game. We're doing one big video. It's going to be a blast. So if you want to keep up with us and what we're doing down there, follow us on all the socials I just mentioned. Guys, we're having so much fun. We can't wait to put show out for you guys in this this first ever content trip for the boys. Can't wait to go see Sammy 2 times. But other than that, boys, we'll see you from
YouTube folks, you've made it to the end. My YouTube folks, appreciate you made it to the end.
Sorry, bro,
like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell on the way out. You already know what the fuck's going on. It's your boys in this corner. All Day Everyday Show, boys.
You're listening to the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and homie Manny Ruffin. My name is Alex Jacobs, but you can call me All Day AJ. See you later, boys. We're headed to Auburn.
Oh, shit.